Welcome back, everybody. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Okay, so today we're taking a look at Alexandra, or as some of you might know her, the Black Rose.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that name.
Yeah, and specifically we've got her article here, "The Art of Writing Life into Fiction."
Interesting title.
Yeah, and it's less about the nuts and bolts of writing and more about this concept she calls nonfiction fiction.
Nonfiction fiction.
Yeah, it's like taking real-world events, even future trends, and kind of weaving them into the stories.
It's kind of like what authors have always done, right? I mean, using fiction as a way to reflect, to explore the anxieties of their times.
Right, exactly. But instead of like straight-up historical fiction, she's pulling from like what's happening right now. That whole shifting of global power, rise, and nationalism.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
And she even mentions specifically that she brings these themes into her Killing Game series.
Killing Game, huh?
Yeah, and she even hints at potential future scenarios, almost like ripped from tomorrow's headlines, you know?
Wow. So it's like she's got this like sixth sense for where the world is heading or something.
Right. It's pretty wild. And you know what's funny is for Alexander, it's not just about dropping in facts. It's making those anxieties part of the story's fabric, you know?
Yeah, it's going to be organic. It can't just feel like a lecture, right?
Really. Totally. And that actually brings us to another interesting point. Alexandra, she really resists being boxed into any genre.
You mean even though she's got all that thriller suspense stuff?
Yeah, even with the romance elements, she's always saying it's ultimately about life raw, complex, and unfiltered.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, it's like she's making this multi-layered cake, you know. Each layer is a different genre or element. Espionage, geopolitics.
I bet there's a historical thread running through it too, tying the present to the past.
Oh, absolutely. And on top of all that, she talks about weaving fragments of her own past into her characters' lives.
Oh, wow. So it's getting personal. Makes you wonder how much is inspired by her experiences and how much is, pure imagination.
Right. It's like trying to separate fact from fiction, but in a memoir.
Exactly. But it does show how authors can use their own lives as inspiration, even indirectly. Adds a layer of authenticity.
And, okay, here's where things get really interesting. Alexandra's a Christian.
Okay.
And that faith, it's woven into her narrative, scripture, biblical themes, they're all there. But she kind of shies away from that Christian fiction label.
Yeah, I can see that. Some authors, they might feel like that label limits them, like it'll pigeonhole their work.
Yeah. Maybe she wants to resonate with a wider audience,
Yeah.
like exploring faith as this universal human experience.
Not just dogma, yeah.
Exactly. It's not about preaching. It's about exploring morality, resilience, and hope, but through the lens of faith.
I see, yeah.
She even points out how much of our everyday language, the sayings we use without even thinking, they're actually rooted in the Bible.
Oh, that is interesting.
It really is. It's like those ancient texts, they still have this hold on our culture.
Even subconsciously.
I wonder if she does that intentional, uses those familiar phrases to connect with readers on a deeper level.
Oh, for sure. It's like she's saying, hey, even if you don't realize it, these stories, these truths, they're already part of you.
Exactly. And that brings us to her characters. The heroes and heroines, they're not your typical cookie-cutter good guys.
Oh, no, not at all. They're driven and ambitious, but they also face these really tough moral dilemmas.
Yeah, they're complex.
Right. It's not just about saving the day. It's about navigating that gray area, the situations where there is no easy answer. Exactly. And it's those choices, those tough ones, that really reveal a character's true nature.
Alexandra talks about her heroes striving to make the world a better place, but they're not perfect. They make mistakes. They question. They even compromise their ideals sometimes.
And that's what makes their eventual triumphs even more meaningful.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, we can't forget about the villains.
All right, the villains.
Alexandra describes them as complex and believable, like reflections of the real threats we see in the world today.
Like who?
She even mentions neo-Nazis, power-hungry bureaucrats,
Oh, wow. Yeah, I can see that. It's not just some mustache-twirling caricature.
Nope. It's about understanding their motivations, that twisted logic.
And by grounding them in reality, by tapping into our fears about extremism, she makes them that much more terrifying.
Right. because we can see how easily their ideology could take root, how their thirst for power could manipulate and exploit.
Yeah. Yeah, scary stuff. Makes that conflict with the heroes all the more intense.
Absolutely.
It's a good reminder that evil, it's not always some monstrous force. It can be insidious, seductive even, hiding in plain sight.
And it's up to the heroes, with all their flaws and complexities, to confront it, to protect what they believe in.
It's a heavy burden to carry.
It really is.
Makes you wonder, in a world where it's already so hard to tell what's real and what's not, how do we even, as readers, how do we figure out what to believe?
Yeah, that's the thing about this nonfiction fiction, right? It makes you think, dig a little deeper. Don't just pick the story at face value.
And Alexandra seems to really get that. She's not afraid of that complexity at all.
Oh, not one bit. Especially when it comes to relationships.
The relationships.
Yeah, all those bonds, romantic, family, the friendships. It's like, that's where her characters are truly tested.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like a crucible.
Exactly. She makes it clear these connections, they're not just there for plot. They really shape the characters, their choices, how they grow.
It's like their whole identity is at stake.
And it's in those relationships that we see, like, the true cost of those moral dilemmas,
Right, yeah. How much pressure is on them? Do they compromise what they believe in just to protect someone?
Exactly. Or do they have to, betray someone
Yeah.
to do what they think is right for the bigger picture?
Man, tough choices. It's stuff like that makes her stories so much more than just, simple action.
And you know what I really appreciate? It's how she portrays love.
The romantic stuff.
Yeah, it's not always, sunshine and roses. It's messy and it's demanding. There's sacrifice.
Real love, not the Hollywood kind.
Right. And it always comes down to this, unwavering commitment. That choice to be there even when things are tough.
It feels very grounded, it fits with that whole raw and unfiltered thing she talks about.
Yeah, exactly. She doesn't try to sugarcoat it.
Mm.
The dark sides are there too. The betrayals, the heartbreaks.
But then you also get the joy, the triumphs. That makes it real.
And it's not just the personal relationships either. Alexander's got this, global perspective woven in.
Oh, interesting. How so?
She shows how connected everything is. What happens on one side of the world can have ripple effects everywhere.
It's like she's zoomed out the camera to show the bigger picture.
Exactly. And suddenly those personal struggles, they're mirrored on a global scale. Political intrigue, economic stuff, even just fighting for resources.
Yeah, it's all connected. It makes you think, in our own lives, how often do we even stop to think about that?
Right. Do we even realize the impact we have on others? Or the impact they have on us?
Easy to forget when we're just, living our own lives.
Totally. But her work, it reminds us that we're all part of this bigger tapestry,
A tapestry, huh? Like that.
And even the smallest choices, they can have big consequences. It's a powerful message.
It is.
And just when you think you know where the story's going, bam, plot twist.
Uh-huh. She likes to keep us guessing.
She does. It's like she's saying, don't get too comfortable. Nothing's ever quite what it seems.
It's a good reminder for life in general, I think.
Absolutely. Especially these days.
Yeah, with all the information overload. Got to be able to sift through it all.
Right. And that's where I think her nonfiction fiction really shines.
How so?
It's not just entertainment. It makes you think, makes you feel things,
Yeah.
and makes you question what you believe.
Yeah, it's engaging on so many levels.
Exactly.
Powerful stuff. So we've talked a lot about her craft, how she tells these stories, but what's the takeaway for the listener? Why should they care about all this?
That's a good question. I think it comes down to this. The world can feel really overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah, definitely chaotic, uncertain.
But her work, it offers this sense of clarity, of meaning, even hope.
Hope.
Yeah, it's like this reminder that even when things are dark, there's still beauty to be found, stories to be told, connections to be made.
I like that.
And those connections, they're really what gives our lives purpose.
Yeah.
And it's about realizing, that we're not alone in all of this.
Mm-hmm.
In the struggles, in trying to find that meaning.
Yeah, we're all in this together, right?
Exactly. And sometimes those answers, they're not found in some big, pronouncements, but in those small moments, those quiet moments of connection.
That's when her characters seem to really grow, too. It's not always the big world-saving stuff, but those personal reflections.
Yeah, totally. And that brings us back to that whole idea of faith.
Right, right. That undercurrent running through it all.
It's not about, pushing any specific beliefs, but it's about that inner strength, that belief in something bigger.
Helps them through those tough times.
Exactly. It's finding hope when things are really bleak, holding on to what you believe, even when everything else is falling apart.
And that's something that everyone can relate to, right? No matter what you believe.
I think so, because when you get down to it, faith is really about trust.
Trust, yeah.
Trust in something beyond ourselves. Trust in each other, in the possibility of a better future.
It fuels those characters, helps them navigate all that complexity.
And I think Alexandra's offering that same hope to her readers, too, that even with, all the crazy stuff happening in the world, all the betrayals, the anxieties we all share about what's coming next, there's still a reason to keep going.
Keep fighting, keep believing, to create that world worth living in.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Alexandra's nonfiction fiction, I keep thinking about this. How do our own experiences, and what we believe, how does that shape how we read these stories?
That is a good question. Do we see ourselves in those heroes? In their struggles, their wins?
Or do we see, like, those anxieties she's writing about, those real-world problems? Do we recognize them?
And how does that recognition, how does that change how we connect with the story?
It becomes more than just entertainment, right?
Yeah, it's a conversation, a reflection, even a challenge.
It's to think about what we believe.
And that's the power of it, That nonfiction fiction, it blurs those lines, makes you think about what's possible, what's dangerous, what choices we make.
So to anyone listening, if you're looking for something that'll really stay with you, something to make you think, check out Alexandra's work.
You might find a new way of looking at things, understand yourself a little better, maybe even find a little more hope for the future.
Yeah, because in a world that feels so divided these days, we need those stories that remind us that we're all human, that we can connect, that we can make a difference.
And Alexandra's work does that. It reminds us that even when things are really dark, the human spirit, it's still there.
Well said. Until next time, keep diving deep, everyone.